I'm starting to fall in love with movie crews, just how we work. Like, we're all a bunch of carnies. Like we get in trailers and we go around the world and we make these things together and we're wild people who are not quite totally built for normal life.
That's Jason's superpower is what you see is what you get. I think he's so successful at sort of being the person next door, or he's like he could be your dad, your uncle, co-worker. Is that's who he really is.
I'm gonna cut your heart out. Good luck. Get to work.
A Working Man, rated R. Only in theaters Friday.
David, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm good. It's funny. I first talked to you at a walk among the tombstones, and
Wow.
since then, you've kind of done everything. What was it? I mean, you've got this year. You've got Thunderbolts. You've got You've got Stranger Things. What about you? Play such a very real character here. This is I almost didn't recognize you for a second. I'm like, oh shit, that's David.
Yeah,
What?
good.
How did you build this guy?
Um, I mean, there's several th components that go into it. The biggest one is David Ayer, who's a buddy of mine and who I've worked with before in the past, and who I really like what he's about. He really loves these military guys and sort of he wants to honor them, and he a lot of them are his friends, and he wants to really be true and about even down to the tattoos and the different little things, and like he's very, very precise about all that stuff. So the first thing was he hooked me up with a guy who does some of this type of crazy mercenary type work for the government and countries, and uh
Wow.
and was talking to him about the brotherhood and the love that these guys and the dependence that they have on each other. And it really became about that. I know that I'm a sort of supporting to it's Jason's movie and it's
Yeah.
his story of revenge and this whole thing. So it's like, what can you do as this sort of, I guess he's a bit of a dark shadow mentor. He's a bit of an Obi-Wan Kenobi in a sense. You know what I mean? Like he's his friend. He's someone who hooks him up with weapons. So you have that larger piece of the hero's journey piece, and then you also have these real details of like who these guys are to each other and their family life and how enmeshed they are. And so it was really about kind of brotherly love. I would say that was the title, which I would put it under.
Okay, that makes sense. And was Jason, is he just an easy fit? You guys seem to just be natural.
I really liked him. I'll tell you what, and one of the reasons why, I don't know if you're supposed to admit this when you do movies like this, but one of the reasons why I want to do this movie is because I just love Jason Statham movies. I mean, ever since I was like I feel like in college we would go see Crank and like, all these Jason Statham movies. And so to be able to get to play with that guy, I think you come on set with a certain respect for what he's done in cinema and like who he is, and I think that it becomes easy to work with him because I just like what I like him as an action star. And then yeah, getting to work with him, he's the real deal. He loves it. He works real hard. He really knows how to show up. He's a real good guy. He is what he seems on camera, and it was a pleasure.
Now, I'm going to jump in a little bit because are you the hardest working guy right now? I mean, you're working really, you've got a lot going on. How do you balance something like, you're doing this, you've got this other film, you've got a new season of, I believe the last season, you know, what it, how do you balance this?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I don't know if I do that well, but I do know that, look, I love telling stories and I love and for years, I've been a New York actor doing plays and all sorts of stuff. But to be able to start to, as you say, like you saw me walk among the tombstones, and now to be able to play on a grander stage and to be able to play these characters, there is a sort of fire in me that I'm not so good. There are actors I heard throughout history. You hear these actors like Kevin Kline was known as like Kevin Decline or whatever, like because he would always like turn down roles. I am the opposite. Like I just feel like I work like if you show me something, I'm so invested in the potential of it. I really enjoy telling stories on the scale. I really like working. I really like, I'm starting to fall in love with movie crews, just how we work. Like, we're all a bunch of carnies. Like we get in trailers and we go around the world and we make these things together and we're wild people who are not quite totally built for normal life and work long hours and nights and all sorts of things. But I don't know, I just have a deep love for movies. And I think that when stuff comes up, I find it hard to pass up opportunities. I really like to work.
Well, it's funny because, yeah, I mean, like I said, met you with the tombstones. You haven't changed. You're still that guy.
No, I know.
That's a rare thing, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Well, I believe we have to wrap up. I know you have a lot of people to talk to, but good dude, good luck with everything this year.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you again when we talk whatever, Thunderbolt, Stranger Things. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
I can't wait, man. I always love talking to you, dude.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, cheers. I want to start off with this film. I love that Stallone actually wrote the script for Homefront with Jason, as well as this. What was the writing? What was it like writing with him, and where did you guys discover the novel?
Yeah, Sylvester was really driving, finding Chuck Dixon's book, really, discovered that series, that it could be cinematic. I think there's 12 of these books, so this is based on Levon Cade, the first of them. He saw an incredible character in there in a great world. And in the script, he turned that into an amazing structure, an amazing action movie vehicle. And then I came in and added kind of my character work and my own sort of personalized filmmaker layer on top of that. But he really gave me an amazing base to start with.
Working with Jason Statham, I think he's exceptionally good at doing the everyman thing. What was it like, and how did you find it working with him and kind of building Levon, especially considering this could be built into mini films?
I mean, that's Jason's superpower, is what you see is what you get. I think he's so successful at sort of being the person next door, or, he's like, he could be your dad, your uncle, co-worker, is that's who he really is. And he's got a great heart. He's a hard worker, comes from humble beginnings. So it's not so far-fetched to build a world around him that supports that. And what I really liked doing this time was giving him a family to interact with. He has this great family that's adopted him and taken care of him, that he ultimately goes to war for. But he's also a dad, he's interacting with his daughter Mary in this, and you really believe those scenes. There's such a dramatic side to him, an emotional side to him that he doesn't always get to show us.
Yeah, he's shockingly good with kids.
Yeah.
He's
a dad. He's a great dad. I mean, that's kind of who he is. He's just kind of being himself.
No, there's an interesting vibe with this, is that, and I think it makes sense from Stallone's work, obviously First Blood, there is very much a man against everyone type of thing feel here. You really embrace that as a filmmaker, as a visionary. How do you build a character like this, visually speaking?
It's you test, you do wardrobes, you do makeup looks, you do different looks. What does the world look like? A lot of it's sort of intuitive, and you just keep trying until everybody kind of goes, okay, that's it. Again, Jason is just a natural everyday quality about him. So seeing him as a construction foreman, seeing him with a hard hat, seeing him leading a work crew, just makes a lot of sense.
It's interesting. You also have a way with the working crew. I mean, end of watch. Those are just guys that are doing their job. What is it for you to tell those stories, in insane situations?
I mean, I'm a high school dropout. I didn't go to college. You know, I was in the military. I worked construction, house painter, electrician. So I've been in those environments. You know, I've lived that life, and I have a lot of respect for people that get up in the morning and work with their hands and work hard every day to take care of their families. So they don't always get seen the way I think they should be seen in film. And so it's an honor to honor them.
That's a really good. I never thought of that because even in this film, you know, you have the guy dealing with just everyday problems while having to be extraordinary. That's
That's
amazing.
exactly it. Yeah, he's got a grounded life like we all do. He's got problems like we all do. And then in the middle of it, he has to go be a superhero.
Are you planning on another one yet?
Well, no spoilers, but you know, when you see the film, there may be a door cracked open at the end, and there are 12 books, so we'll see.
David, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Take care.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.